aware
I am a humble man.
that you feel you don't belong?
I won't say you should follow me.
You are welcome. You are loved. Join us, and we shall reach the promised plain.
I'm not boastful, and my chorus is more soulful.
One of joy, one lacking pain. We are the cult of I am aware
Don't say it. I can see
you
it.
feel you don't belong.
I don't wanna. You don't need it. Once again, we don't need you. What I'm needing. Don't say it. I can see it.
Join us.
I don't wanna. You don't
We shall
need it.
reach
Once
the
again,
promised
we don't
plain.
need you.
One of joy, one lacking pain. We are the cult of Odd.
Good evening, oddities. Welcome back to the Cult of Odd, the only podcast where the Kool-Aid comes with a splash of whiskey and a hint of existential dread. I'm your host, your friendly neighborhood cult leader, Odd, and tonight we're tackling a thorny topic that's been clogging up my newsfeed like grandma's mashed potatoes. Influencers. Are they the problem? Or are we just spineless jellyfish swimming in the tide of their perfectly curated bullshit? Spoiler alert, it's us. But don't worry, we'll unpack it together, one toxic hashtag at a time. But first, viewer mail, because nothing says I value your opinion like making fun of it in public. Our first letter this week comes to us from a listener who calls themselves #burnout. They write, "Dear Oddman, influencers are the literal worst. They ruin everything from brunch to mental health. Why don't they just get real jobs like the rest of us?" Well, Burnout, first off, thank you for writing in, and secondly, you misspelled baristas. I kid. But you do raise an interesting point, and it's the perfect segue into tonight's theme. Son of a bitch, hold on. Imagine that. Nothing changes, right? Nothing ever changes, and yet we still have fucking problems. Hold on. Test 1, 2. Do. Yeah, Windows hates me. Windows absolutely fucking hates me. Hold on. So, let me see. 'Cause, nothing fucking changed. Literally nothing changed. Hold on. Let me try checking something. Hold on. I don't know. The pan is set to center. There. Is that better? That seems like it's better. You know what I did? Nothing. I threatened fucking Windows to adjust something. I didn't do a damn thing. Probably. More than likely. All right. So as we were saying, it's a perfect segue into tonight's theme. Jesus fucking Christ. I heard a static, then it fixed. Yep. I fiddled with the wire slightly. I touched it. You know, you just got to lay your magic fingers on it. So let's start with a little history lesson, shall we? Because history isn't just for nerds and people who know how to fact check. It's also a I bet that didn't play like it was supposed to either, did it? Uh-huh. Yep. Oh, I'm about done with all of this. Yep. No, it's playing. I hear it. You don't hear it. That's fine. All right. So let's start with a little history lesson, shall we? Because history isn't just for nerds and people who know how to fact check. it's also a goldmine of examples of humanity being hopelessly gullible. Picture this. Sicily, 1637. No, I'm sorry. The fucking Golden Girls moment there. No, picture this. It's 1637 in the Netherlands, and tulips are all the rage. I'm talking people are selling their homes for a single bulb. The original NFT, if you will. The tulip bulb burst. People went bankrupt, and yet nobody blamed the tulips. No one said, these flowers should get a real job. Why? Because deep down they knew it wasn't the tulips' fault. It was them. They were the problem. Want another one? Let's skip to 1840s America. The great patent medicine craze. People were buying bottles of miracle cures that were little more than alcohol and snake oil. Dr. William Radham's A Microbe Killer was a bestseller, despite the fact that it was just sulfuric acid mixed with water. And here's the kicker. No one blamed the bottles for their chronic diarrhea. The blame once again lay with human gullibility. Now we fast forward to today. Replace tulips and snake oil with influencers, and you've got the same story, just with better lighting and more lip fillers. Is it really Addison Rae's fault that people are buying $40 bottles or $40 water bottles because she's drinking out of them? No, that's on you. Burnout, you clicked, you bought, you contributed to her $15 million net worth. And we do this all the time, right? I mentioned it last week when we were talking about capitalism. Do we still need ads on TV for certain things? Right? Who's not buying shit tickets? Who's literally out there like, man, I got all this poop falling out of my ass and I got no idea what to do? Nobody. Nobody. We don't need ads for toilet paper unless there's some magical, like, astonishing fucking breakthrough in shit wiping technology. We do not need the Charmin bears, right? We just don't. We don't need ads for things that we buy all the time. Nobody has forgotten that Pepsi exists. Nobody has forgotten that Budweiser exists. Nobody has forgotten that, any number of things exist. But yet, companies spend money hand over fist paying individuals, much like myself, to get online and hawk their products because they think, well, no, it's not even they think, they know that if you see your favorite icon using it, you're likely to buy it. A case in point, look at those fucking Stanley Cups, right? What was it before the Stanley Cups? What water bottle was big before that? And all it took is a couple of fucking influencers online with them. Not even necessarily hawking them, but just showing them. When we see it more and more now, ever since TikTok, went dark, and then was miraculously saved. There's nothing on my feed now except TikTok shop after TikTok shop after TikTok shop. No matter how many times I reset my feed and how many times I mark that I'm not interested in these videos, I don't watch them, I don't like them, I swipe past them, and I still get them. Hydro Flask. Yeah, that was what was big before the fucking Stanley Cups. Hydro Flask. And then it was some ridiculous thing before that and before that and before that and before that. Gamers do it too. Gamers have become influencers at this point, right? Gamer Fuel. A company that, it makes an energy drink powder? Right? Like, it's just glorified sugar and fucking crystallized caffeine. And they pitch to gamers to get them to use it and show it on stream. Ghost, Razer, etc., etc., etc. You are being influenced and sold to at every fucking turn. And for the most part, we all buy into it in some way. Some of us to a lesser extent. Now, case in point, I mentioned this probably a few weeks back. I've been very candid about the fact that I've been going to therapy, and one of the questions that I asked my therapist is, what is wrong with me? How am I broken? Why didn't the programming stick with me? Why didn't the programming take with me? Right? Everybody out there has a favorite band, has a favorite beer, has a favorite sports team, has a favorite this, has a favorite that. And the programming didn't stick with me. I have no favorites. I have nothing that I would move mountains to be able to access. Right? Think about it. Let's take Taylor Swift. All right? How many Swifties out there will beg, borrow, and steal their way to get to a concert, to buy merch, etc.? Well, I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm not here to shit on Taylor Swift. There's enough people on the internet doing that. I'm not interested in that. I don't fully care about the woman one way or another. It's just an example to use, okay? But what I was getting at is there is nothing in my life that I would beg, borrow, and steal my way to get access to. Okay? I don't care if a band is going on tour. I don't care if a movie has hit theaters. I don't care, if the McRib is back. Like, I don't care about all of these things that people seem to put so much stock and faith and energy into. Why not? I was genuinely curious as to what is wrong with me, what is broken inside of me that doesn't allow for anything to stick. And it's always been this way. I've never been head over heels for anything. I've never understood the hype. I've never understood the draw or the compulsion. Like, it borderlines fucking mental illness in some cases. I just don't get it. And I never have. And I've never understood the idea of influencers either. I've never understood why seeing somebody holding a product sparks others to want to also hold that product. You're right. There's been a very few obscure things that I've liked, but never to that extent. There's nothing that I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die if I don't have this. Except maybe a blowjob, but, hey, I'm a guy. This is heteronormative. But honestly, it makes me an outcast. It makes me an outsider. And I don't necessarily want to be the outcast. I don't necessarily want to be the outsider. I don't necessarily want to be the weird kid in class. But I'm trying to figure out desperately what is wrong with me. And my therapist said, well, what makes you think there's something wrong with you? And I looked at them and I was like, that is not a question that I expected my therapist to ask. Like, it seems very egotistical, very self-centered, and very narcissistic for me to sit here and think I'm not the broken one, that everyone else is broken somehow. But that's kind of what the therapist was alluding to, is that others are broken in some way, and these things that they cherish so much are fixes, Band-Aids. And I want you to know my therapist is a Swiftie. Like, fucking dyed in the wool Swiftie. But there's something from what they were saying, that they were alluding to that there is something broken in everyone else that didn't break in me. I'm broken in so many other ways, but I'm not broken in a way that that kind of programming sticks with me. I still don't think it's right for me to say that everyone else is broken and I'm perfectly fine. I think that's a very weird statement. I do not feel right making that statement or anything. But being a Swiftie is a sign of emotional intelligence. We're going out on a limb here, aren't we? Anyways. So, yeah, it just, like I said, it was a very, very strange conversation to have with my therapist, and to even begin to think that I'm not the broken one, that the rest of society is broken. And that's actually where this kind of topic came from, is like, okay, if society is fucked up and if society is broken in some way, all right, let's point it out and see if we can get some people to fix it. You know? Because it seems like everyone has their own golden calf, right? You know, we used that analogy a couple of times when we were talking about the orange guy in the office, right? That, you know, do Christians not realize that they're not supposed to worship the golden calf? But that's kind of what it comes down to. It's like everybody seems to have their own golden calf. And why? What is it about celebritydom? What is it about product? What is it about, sports teams? You know, what is it about all of these things that these people hold so near and dear, you know, that they would practically sell their grandmothers for? What is it about those things that fixes or mends or quells whatever is broken inside of them? So let's talk about the psychology of influence. Now, before you come for me with the pitchforks made out of recycled Starbucks straws, let's break it down. Why are we so easily influenced? Well, according to psychology, and yes, I did research this. I'm not just winging it like your drunk uncle at Thanksgiving. We're hardwired to follow the crowd. It's called herd mentality. Back in the day, it helped us survive. If everyone in your tribe ran away from the giant, snarling predator, you ran too, because the alternative was becoming a saber-toothed tiger's dinner. But now, our predators are FOMO and the fear of being irrelevant. It's not life or death, but our lizard brains haven't updated their software in like 200,000 years. And that's why you bought those pants you hate, but your favorite influencer swore they would change your life. Spoiler alert, they didn't. Your ass may look a little better, but that's about it. And that's another thing, too, is wealth and connection desperation. So you notice, too, that the influencers are influencing those who have less than them, right? There's a growing income disparity in our country, and we see it day in and day out. And there was a term that I used to hear a lot growing up. And it was right around tax time, right? Everybody got their income tax check back. And I've been very open, very clear. I grew up kind of in the hood. And so when income tax rolled around, everyone that got an actual return lived like they were hood rich. Okay? And it basically means for like a solid month and a half, you could flex and floss and flaunt and, act like you weren't living paycheck to paycheck. And you would want to stunt or front on others because it made you feel better about yourself somehow. I don't know. Growing up, I saw when like Nike would release new shoes, like the new Jordans came out. I would see motherfuckers taking the day off of work to go stand in line to spend $120 to $240 for a pair of fucking sneakers. And I never understood it. They're shoes. They're utilitarian. They don't need to be fancy. They don't need to be special. They need to go on your feet and protect your feet while you're walking.
I immediately regret this decision.
Thank you, Sim, for the subprime for 17 months. Now, I know there's some of you that are in the chat right now, and I'm going to name drop. Levi, I'm sure you're lurking somewhere and haven't said anything yet. You don't believe in foot prisons. Every time I see Levi, every time I see her, videos, anything that they're doing, they are never wearing fucking shoes. I have seen this person working construction inside of their family arcade with fucking nails and goddamn boards and sawdust and splinters, and the motherfuckers running around with no goddamn shoes on using power tools. You know how fucking nervous that makes me? And I am amazed that they have not wound up in the hospital for tetanus or something. I don't know how you do it. I have no idea. No earthly idea. Foot hugs. They're foot prisons, right? But no, what I was getting at is the fact that I don't understand the hype, right? I have the same pair of shoes that I have had roughly 6 to 8 years. Okay. Onion, if you say so. All I know is it makes me very nervous to watch. Yeah, I have this same pair of fucking shoes that I think I've had for probably a good 5 to 7 years. They are damn near falling apart. Because I don't get rid of them until they are completely obliterated. Yep. Nope. I don't see the sense in wasting the money. As long as they still go on my feet and I can still, wear them for short periods of time when I need to when I'm out in public, I'm all for it. Hell, as it is, I need to get a new pair of slippers already because these are falling apart. And I keep looking at them like, I don't want to spend $30 on a pair of slippers. These are still fine. But the biggest problem that I'm having now with these is they keep sliding off my feet. I've lost enough weight that my feet have gotten skinnier, I guess. And so every time I take a step, they slide off. Wear them until they disintegrate. That's right, Levi. But I did buy boots. And I needed them for the winter and whatnot. I bought some cute winter boots. Later, Clutch. But I don't have a lot of cause to wear them. I don't go very many places. I don't have a lot of people to hang out with. Because I am an outcast. I am an outsider. I don't have a lot of cause to put on nice clothes or to really do much. So I predominantly wear pajama pants to work and hoodies and my slippers. Occasionally my feet get cold and I put on socks, but it is what it is. But as we were talking about, we are so scared that we aren't going to be seen as important as everyone else. We live our lives like we're struggling. I'm working harder to fake it, Levi. I'm working harder to fake it. But yeah, I just we're so wrapped up in these, right? A little black mirrors that we all carry with us. We all want to be seen. We all want to be heard. We all think that we're just one viral post away from being the next big thing. Why? Because we think it's going to bring us money. We think we're going to be able to, shuffle off or slough off the shackles of the normal 9 to 5. We think that living by the phone is going to somehow make us happier. We're influenced to believe that we're just one purchase away from happiness. We're influenced to believe that it's okay to buy ourselves a little treat because we've deserved it. We've earned it. We didn't do anything. We got out of bed. We went to work. We did our job. We went home. Somehow or another, we've been brainwashed into believing that these are things that we should be patted on the back for when we have to do them to survive. And that's where the influencers come in. They show you the treats that you could buy yourself. You have influencers trying to sell you stuffed animals. You have influencers trying to sell you I don't know what the new big thing on TikTok is. I don't know what they're all hawking right now. I think it's over the sink fucking dish strainer. But like every fucking creator is selling something. Did you guys notice I stopped pitching the fucking merch shop? Do you know why? Because I started to feel fucking dirty. Our phones are the new gambling addiction. Yeah. Yeah, just one more swipe. Just one more swipe. Just one more swipe. And it's all for that dopamine rush. We're all chasing that dopamine high. One more video is going to make me happy. One more cat video. One more baby laughing video. One more person getting hit in the nuts. Just one more video. Just one more item. You're just one more purchase away from true happiness. Hey, you know what though? Hawk 2ing, all right, that does bring happiness. Maybe not to the Hawk 2er, but to the Hawk 2e, yeah. And remember, you can't spell happiness without a penis. Anyways, so a study from the University of Leeds showed that humans, like sheep, will follow a small minority if they look confident enough. The experiment had participants walking in a random direction in a large hall, with only 5% of them given specific instructions. The rest followed without question. The moral of the story? A ring light and a smile can lead to an entire population walking straight into the abyss. Think about it, too. Think about back in the heyday, right? Go way back to when YouTube first started. Nobody had fucking ring lights. Nobody had great lighting. And yet still people seem to be able to catch an audience. But then, somewhere along the way, somebody decided, oh, well, you don't look the greatest. Oh, well, maybe if you did just this, or maybe if you added this, or maybe if you did that, you would be more likable. Now, I've mentioned this many times previously on the show, way back when, is how it's been almost impossible, and I've given up trying to get a foothold on YouTube. Because the problem is everybody looks the same. Every thumbnail, every video, it's all the fucking same. Right? It's all just some form of a rehash of a BuzzFeed article. All the thumbnails have similar colors and similar fonts and similar imagery. All the video content is broken up into the same similar fashion. Because they're influenced by other people. I don't want to influence you to buy anything. I want to influence you to think for yourself. To have not just necessarily emotional intelligence, but intelligent intelligence. I want you to stop being so easily fucking led. Because you see what's sitting in the White House right now. That's how you get there, is being fucking sheep, being easily led. And I don't care what party you're a part of. Both of them do the same thing. Both of them use the same tactics. It is the same shit that you see regularly. Fuck. I'm glad that I can make your ear holes happy. At least I'm making someone's holes happy. Levi said I have the hardest time charging anyone for merch on my show. I mean, I conceptually like the idea, but I don't want to be another ad in the sea of them. I'm already grateful for the viewers' time. That's exactly where I'm at. Again, you don't see me hawking my merch. You don't see me pushing the merch store or anything like that anymore. You don't see me really sporting any of the gear or anything like that. Even though I have it, I make a concerted effort to not be wearing it when I'm going to be on camera. Yeah, regularly. There's certain words that my mouth just don't want to say. What's really fun is at work when I get towards the end of the day at work, I can't fucking speak. Like, the last hour of my shift is just, I sound like I've been drinking. If you're looking, you could buy your very own onion water from... From where, Onion? You can't buy it from asterisks. Links aren't allowed. Sorry. Is it onion bath water, though? Does that make it soup? Are you selling soup? More of a broth. That's how I refer to baths. It's making you soup. You know, what happens in the tub stays in the tub until it goes down the drain, right? All right. So let's talk about dark humor for a second, shall we? Because nothing says self-awareness like laughing at your own idiocy. Remember the Tide Pod challenge? Of course you do. It was 2018 and people were out here eating laundry detergent like it was a new flavor of Hot Pockets. Did Tide create that trend? No. They literally had to spend money, actual human money, on ads telling people not to eat their product. That's like McDonald's having to say, hey, maybe don't deep throat our straws. Yet here we are. So let's throw in a little pop culture reference, because I'm nothing if not on brand. Remember the movie Idiocracy? It's supposed to be satire, but at the rate that we've been going, it looks more and more like a documentary. And I know it's easy to say that, right? A lot of people have been saying that. It's a throwaway line at this point. It's like comparing it's like comparing the person in political power that you don't like to Hitler, although this one's kind of really close to the mustache man. But influencers are the logical progression of a society that rewards spectacle over substance. They are the symptom, not the disease. The disease is our collective inability to think critically and say, no, I don't need a $700 blender that also takes selfies. It's the inability to say, I don't need a fucking smart fridge, because the motherfucker holding the handle ain't got but 2 brain cells to rub together. It's the inability to say, I don't need a new car every year. It's the inability to say, you know what? Those ticket prices are just way too fucking high. Why would I bother? It's us. We're the problem. And until we figure out how to fix ourselves to not be so easily led, because let me tell you, everybody out there thinks they're a fucking individual, right? Everybody out there thinks that they're so fucking unique that they can't be spoon-fed, that they can't be led astray, that they can't be influenced, yet they are. And then whether it's a ad on the TV, or let's not even say TV, whether it's an ad in media, whether it's a person on social media, you know, trying to get you to buy things, whether it's the guys you work with or the women you fucking work with, you are all influenced at every turn. And it needs to stop. Because you put yourselves in dangerous positions every single time. Because sure, today it may be spending an extra $20 on a water bottle. But where does it stop? Where? It's a Tremors meme, isn't it? Where does it end? At what point do we say enough is enough and we're not willing to be led like sheep to the slaughter? I continually tell you, your money is your vote. That is all that matters anymore. Your money is your vote. And if you continue to give these corporations and these influencers your money, you are voting them more and more power at every turn. And you need to stop. You notice here, okay? Other than what Twitch does on their own, we don't advertise, right? You don't see ads running during, we don't sit there and be talking to you and then all of a sudden cut away and then we're like, hey, Have you heard about a VPN that nobody else has heard of that's way too expensive? But hey, I'll give you a 20% off code if you just sign up, right? I'm not trying to get you to buy food from Goodbye Decay. I'm not trying to sell you a fucking mattress like every other goddamn podcaster was for a while there. Oh, the fake commercials? Yeah. I'm not trying to sell you anything because I think the minute you try to sell somebody something, you become insanely disingenuous. Right? Lately I've been seeing, and I mentioned this last week, I was curious as to how on brand for this week this episode title and this episode topic would be. I started seeing on TikTok people talking about how it used to be embarrassing to be called a sellout, right? Celebrities would go, oh, well, those were small businesses. Those I didn't mind. You're talking Motor City Candleworks, Michigan-based scent. All of the titles, all of the names are based off of stuff here in Michigan, right? So my favorite scent from Motor City Candleworks is Alpina Verbena. Don, no deal. But we are at a point where if we aren't careful, we're going to be completely sold out. And I think we're already there, right? You have a reality TV star sitting in the White House right now selling $5 million gold cards for citizenship to oligarchs in other countries that want to come here. And I said this earlier. I was like, if anybody wants to buy my citizenship for $5 million, I'm willing to sell. You can have my identity because I'm not doing anything with it. Right? Just give me $5 million. I'll give you my life. Right? I'll give you my identity and I'll fuck off to somewhere far, far away. Because why not? All right. So what's the solution, right? You know me. I don't like to bring you problems without trying to bring solutions, correct? Oh, yeah, the sellout. Thank you. That's where I was going. Yeah, they used to be talking about how celebrities selling out was a bad thing, right? They'd go overseas to make these commercials to make money off of them because they knew nobody here would ever see them. Yeah, exactly. I would sell out. I would sell out my American citizenship for $5 million as long as I got to pick where I could go, right, where I was going. You give me 3 days and I'll pack just the essentials and I'll be gone. But no, like I said, you know me. I don't like to bring you problems without bringing solutions. So what is the solution? How do we stop being mindless drones? Well, it starts with self-awareness. The next time you see an influencer hawking something, ask yourself, do I or anyone really need this? Or am I just trying to fill the gaping void in my soul with a piece of overpriced junk? And if the answer is the latter, maybe put down the credit card. Maybe pick up a book. Preferably one that isn't by a YouTuber. We are nearing the end of our hour. We've got about 15 minutes left. Before we go, let's hit up the citation station because unlike your average Instagram caption, I believe in giving credit where it's due. Sources for tonight's episode include Tulipomania by Mike Dash, Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. Oh, God. Cialdini, The University of Leeds Study on Herd Mentality, and my own deeply cynical worldview. Shout out to the American Psychological Association for their research on conformity, and to Tide for reminding us not to eat soap. I have 4 more episodes in mind. But here is where I want you to be influenced by me. If you go to cultivod.com, we have a contact page. I want you to use the contact page. I want you to reach out to me. I want you to suggest topics for me to cover, things that you would be interested in hearing me talk about, things that you would like more information on, or more so my take on. It's very simple. You put in your name. You don't even have to use your real name. And you type in your information. That is it. Like that, and when I say your information, what you want me to know. It's very simple. Like I said, you go to the cultivod.com. There's a contact thing right at the top. You hit the contact page. You fill out fill out the form, and you hit send, and it comes to me directly. You can also send us email at the cultivod, cultivod@gmail.com. Oh, and we've changed hosting providers for our podcast. Where we were before, our hosting provider was letting me down desperately. And in my working with one of the platforms, I was enticed by that platform to move my hosting over to them. After giving it some consideration, I decided to make the jump. Tomorrow, I will go through and update all of the feeds for the other platforms. But it is official. As of this episode, we are officially hosted by Spotify. I don't know how anyone's going to feel about that, but Spotify will have all of the episodes, and then they will go out to all the other podcast platforms from there. I got tired of my previous host not being able to handle an RSS feed. I got tired of the lack of customer support from the previous hosting provider, because I would send a message and then 3 days later I might get a response. So, yes, as of this episode, Spotify is the new home for the Cultivod, and all other podcasting platforms will get it as well. Again, not quite sure how I feel about that, because I know it's Spotify, but I read through all of the paperwork, and I retain all of the rights and all of the, trademarks and everything else that comes along with my show. It is my intellectual content. They are simply hosting it. There is no way that they could claim ownership of it. I also get a lot more defined analytics from them, so that'll be nice to have. I also, there's this company called Podcorn, I think is the name of it, and they keep sending me opportunities to advertise. I'm not taking any of them, but the more opportunities they send me, the better I feel we're doing. And I'm not taking any of them. I'm not selling you anything. I refuse to. Since we did mention the merch shop, it is there. but you do not have to buy. The only thing I really like is you guys being here, hanging out with me on Wednesday nights, listening to what I have to say, watching the show. If you are so inclined to subscribe to the Twitch channel, by all means, please do. I get a little bit of a cut from that, and then, of course, Twitch gets the rest. But subscribing not only pays me, but it takes away ads for you. So you don't get commercials. You don't get advertised to. So there's a bonus, right? You're not being influenced. There you have it, folks. The root cause of the problem are not the influencers. It's us. Each and every one of us. We're just a bunch of overgrown toddlers who can't resist shiny things. But hey, at least we're self-aware now, right? Baby steps. What is next week's topic? Let me see, based on this. This one's going to be fun. Next week's topic is the Treaty of Tripoli. And for those of you that don't know what the Treaty of Tripoli is, you're going to learn something. And it's going to be relevant. So, we're going to cut this one a little short. Until next time. Stay odd. Stay curious. And for the love of God, don't eat anything that isn't food. Because Tide Pods. I want to thank you for joining me this week. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys learned something or enjoyed. The citations that I mentioned, those will be posted with the show, so you guys can go look them up, even though I probably butchered the names. So please make sure that you do go do some reading. And that's the big thing. That's how we fight the influence of all this shit, is knowledge. Knowledge is power. The more you fill your brain with knowledge, the less room for the bullshit there is. The smarter you are, the harder it is to be stupid. I love each and every one of you. And I hope this will make you a little more world aware. Yeah, pay attention to the banned book list. There's a reason that they're banned. There's nothing wrong with a lot of the books that are on that banned book list, right? Actually, that might be episode 8. We might do an episode on banned books. But yeah, go to cultivod.com, use the contact form, and tell me what you want me to talk about. Tell me what you would like to have more information on. I expect by the end of next week to have at least 5 messages about topics that you guys would like to hear. I don't care which 5 of you do it. But I expect at least 5 topics that you would like to hear me talk about. And I will do my due diligence to do my research and provide an entertaining and on-brand look at those topics. Thank you for joining us. This has been the Cult of Odd, and I, as always, have been your friendly neighborhood cult leader.